What's up, guys? Matty here, mixandmastermysong.com. So this is the first video of a new series of videos I'm going to be doing. Mastering the same song, but with different plugins. So the idea of is to kind of show you that the plugins don't matter so much. It's more just, using the tools that you have. So today's video, we're going to be using Plugin Alliance plugins, mastering a song by my buddy Meekins. So let's get started and we'll go over it. All right, guys, so here's the song. It's by my buddy Meekins, as I said, called Say Something. You can check it out on Spotify. It was actually a 2-track beat with vocals, so kind of limited in the mix, but we should be able to bring it home with a master. So as I said, we're using Plugins Alliance plugins, and I know now they have the subscription thing where you can get all their plugins at once for like a really cheap price, so it might be something to look into. I already set up the plugins I wanted to use just because it'd be easier than me having to search through. So, and I'll go through this as we do it. The first one is this iron compressor plugin. Then we're going to be using the dangerous BAX, which is one of my favorite EQs, and then the hardware EQ, which I use when I'm actually mastering. As a lot of you know, I still master using analog. So I'm used to this EQ, and I'll show you kind of some of the frequencies I like to use in it. This is the BX version 3. I always call it the BX Digital version 3. An amazing plugin. Use it all the time. And it kind of reminds me of my Better Maker mastering EQ with all the kind of features that it has. This is a beautiful EQ, great top end, and that's probably what we'll use it for. It's the Millennial EQ. And then lastly, we're going to use this BX Master Disc, which actually I really like this plugin a lot, and I'll show you why we use it. This is also something I use all the time. I'm going to keep this up. This is an RMS meter, and usually if I'm hitting around -6, and this is changing now with all the loudness stuff, so keep that in mind. But usually -6, it's going to be fairly loud and translate to other songs that are on the radio and whatnot. So we'll leave this up. Actually, we'll close it for now, but we'll bring it up towards the end so you guys can see what it's doing. So yeah, let's get it started. We'll play the song for a few minutes, and then I'll talk about what I think we're going to do with it, and then go from there.
I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chilling in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. And me, I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends.
All right, so you get the idea. So first of all, let me just kind of tell you what I'm hearing, what I want to do to it. I just feel like the track needs a little bit more low end, a little bit more warmth. It's got a little like harshness, weirdness in the higher, lower, like high mids, low mids area that I want to clean up. And then we'll just kind of touch up, give it some like a little shine at the top end towards the end of it. And then I'll obviously bring up the overall level. Right now, if we bring up our meter, I'll play it so you can see where we're.
I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been
So we're like -12, -10, which is actually not bad for some streaming now, but it's, like I said, I want to get more towards -6 here as far as RMS goes. So the first plugin I'm going to use is this iron, and this isn't so much to compress. It will glue it a little bit. Let me get back to 0 here. It will glue it a little bit, but I'm not using so much for compression and more just kind of the sound and a little tightness. So let's get this going and we'll bring it in now.
I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chilling in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. And me, I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends. I spent some time in Hollywood, but I don't be in this mess. How come a lot of dudes preach, but the role's on lease? I'm in the cold till next week, speed town's on freeze. And when I wonder when it's worth it, try and remember that I'm living with this purpose.
All right, so that's basically all I'm going to do with it. As you can see, it was hitting a little too hard. So with this thing, you have a plus and minus input. So I did the -2 just to bring it down. So we're not, like I said, I barely want to hit this thing. Switch to one of the germanium rectifiers. Slow attack, fast release, pretty standard. No EQ output, +2, so we're getting back the -2 here. And then this is something I use quite a bit. There's air bass, which adds some low end and high end to it. And then it has this tape roll off sound, which gives it a little more warmth. And that's kind of the reason I wanted to use it, to get kind of rid of some of that graininess and give this thing a little bit more warmth and low end. So that's what we're going to do with that. And then next, we're going to pull up this BAX EQ. Now, the BAX EQ is interesting. There's this 84, 96, and 116. All this low end is really nice on the back. So what I'm going to do, and I'll do this just so I can describe it before, is probably switch this to MS mode and not boost the sides, but boost the low end just a little bit, maybe 84, 98, 74, depending. We'll take a listen once we get going. And that's what we're going to use this for, and maybe do a little bit of cutting. The filters are really good on this thing too. So let's check it out and see what we get.
I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chilling in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. And me, I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends. I spent some time in Hollywood, but I don't be in this mess. How come a lot of dudes preach, but the role's on lease? I'm in the cold till next week, speed town's on freeze. And when I wonder when it's worth it, try and remember that I'm living with this purpose. Yeah, ay. I just do it for the art, I do it for the soul. I'm thinking about the future for.
All right, so that's good there. So like I said, we're just boosting a little bit around 84 in the mid, the middles, the middle of the MS, mids, not sides. And we just filtered it out a little bit on both ends. So that's that. Next is the BX Digital version 3. So here, like I said, there's that mid-range that I'm not crazy about on this. So I'm gonna try to find that and take that out a bit and see what else I do with it. And you guys can just kind of watch and see.
I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show. Chilling in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends. I spent some time in Hollywood, but I don't be in this mess. How come a lot of dudes preach, but the role's on lease? I'm in the cold till next week, speed town's on free. And when I wonder when it's worth it, try and remember that I'm living with this purpose. Yeah, ay. I just do it for the art, I do it for the soul. Thinking about the future for us, hoping we can grow. Say so, say so, say so. I always knew it from the start, I gotta let them know. I've been dreaming on a million, chilling still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through.
Okay, cool. So we did quite a few things with this EQ. I filtered out the sides. So once again, this is a mid-side processing EQ. Some of the stuff we did the same, but some of we did a little different. So we cut out a little about this 2.7K range, which was a little like nasally sharp that I didn't really like. Took that down almost a dB. Did the same thing in roughly the same area up here. Use the stereo width, which I dig, and all the Brainwork stuff has this now. I've just been using it on this for so long that you did it on here as opposed to down here. So add a little bit of width to it. Then we use this presence shift, which helped even more sculpt out a little that kind of mid-range that I wasn't really digging. And we did the same thing on both the high and the mid and the side. So that's that for that. And then what we're going to do is bring the Millennial up and maybe add some super high-end 21K, see if we need to add anything else, and just kind of play with it.
I've been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. And me, I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends. I spent some time in Hollywood, but I don't be in this mess.
So that's that. We just added, all we added was some 21K, really super high end. It just adds a little bit of shine. It's a nice shelf and just lifts it up just a touch. Nothing crazy. I don't want to get too bright with it. So now what I'm gonna do, before I bring this master desk on, I'm just gonna turn all these on and off so you can hear where we're at so far.
I've been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up.
So you can tell before we add the overall level, just with EQ and a little bit of compression, if you want to call it that, we've kind of achieved what we set out to do, which was give this thing some more warmth and take out a little of that harshness in the mid-range that we weren't digging. It sounds a lot fuller, a lot bigger, and I'm digging the way it sounds. Next, we're going to use this BX Master Desk, and we're going to use this to get some of our level up, and we might play with these filters here, which I kind of dig. It's cool. They solo out, and sometimes I'll use them, sometimes I won't. But yeah, we'll mainly use this for as our final level, and I'm going to bring up our meter now just so we can see where we're at.
I've been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet.
Well, one thing too, just to add, and maybe we'll do a little bit, does this have an output gain? Is a lot of times, and more so in the analog world, adding each EQ, we get some gain too. So you can see already on our meter here, we're already a bit louder without even using the master desk yet. So that's something just to keep in mind. A lot of times you can get your loudness not just from using straight limiter, but each step can bring you a little bit louder when mastering. So let's check this out. Let's bring our overall level up. We should be good to go.
I've been dreaming on a million, chillin' still on the grind. Feel like these demons in my closet, they don't want me to shine. But I've been picking up the pieces, going through in my mind. They setting traps, but I'ma see how to avoid them this time. Was 16 just selling tickets, hoping people would show up. Filled out of class and never listened when they told me to grow up. Going through schemes in my head, thinking how I could blow up. To chillin' in the penthouse, elevators we go up. Some people rather have a million than a million friends. Some people rather have a Prius than me pushing the Benz. And me, I'd rather get blunted than get drinks with some friends. I spent some time in Hollywood, but I don't be in this mess. How come a lot of dudes preach, but the role's on lease? I'm in the cold till next week, speed town's on freeze. And when I wonder when it's worth it, try and remember that I'm living with this purpose. Yeah, ay. I just do it for the art, I do it for the soul. Think about the future for us, hoping we can grow. Say so, say so, say so. I always knew it from the start, I gotta let them know I got you on whatever, I just hope that we can grow. Yeah. Say so, say so.
So yeah, we used this, brought the volume up a little more. So this is kind of like a tilt EQ, if you will. This is high, this is low, so we just brought a little more of the low end out. Took the compressor off, didn't like what it was doing, so we just brought that to 0. And use these filters. We could probably de-ess this a bit too, but that's pretty close and it feels pretty good for a final master. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you got any questions in the comments below. I'm going to probably start doing some mastering presets with Plugin Alliance as well. But let me know what you think. If you need your song mixed or mastered, let me know through my website, mixandmastermysong.com. You can also check out my presets there as well. Talk to you soon.